Security has to do with the freedom from danger or threats to a nation's ability to protect and develop itself and its cherished values, legitimate interests, and enhancing the well-being of its people. Therefore, internal security could be seen as the freedom or absence of those tendencies which could undermine internal cohesion and corporate existence of a country and its ability to maintain its vital institution for the promotion of its core values and socio-political and economic objectives, as well as meeting the legitimate aspiration of the people. Security challenges have always been a major obstacle confronting the entire world, not only Nigeria. This trend necessitated the Nigerian government putting in place several security agencies to tackle headlong internal and external security threats. Sometimes it seems like internal security threats overwhelm the internal security operations of the military and the police, but the fight continues. The collaborative efforts of individuals, groups, and religious and political leaders have significantly contributed to the internal security situation in Nigeria. But the question on the lips of every patriotic Nigerian is, how can we collectively work towards ensuring security challenges are reduced to the barest minimum for national development? What are those missing gaps that have kept the security agencies from achieving maximum security in the country? And what is the way forward? These pertinent questions and more are what we'll be looking at on Policy Focus. Welcome to the program. I am Chana Ejaga. We'll be back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Before we continue, news update is next.
The President, Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, Mr. Oluwole Adeosun, had called for a training collaboration between the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, CIS, and the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPSS. The President made this call during a courtesy visit to the Director General, NIPSS, Professor Ayo Omotayo, and members of management of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPSS. While delivering his speech, Mr. Oluwole Adeosun has stated that the National Institute has recorded tremendous success in fulfilling its mandate of serving as the nation's foremost policy think tank in the formulation of critical policies for national development.
Profound appreciation for taking time off your very busy schedules to receive the principal officers of the Institute. We would like to actually congratulate the leadership of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies for the success recorded in fulfilling its mandate of serving as the nation's foremost policy think tank to develop a crop of top-class technocrats of high intellectual capacity who will conceptualize and anchor the implementation of innovative and dynamic policy initiatives and strategies critical for national development since its establishment by Decree 20 of 1979, now Cap N51, laws of the Federation of Nigeria. We want to appreciate the Director General and the members of the Executive Management for the awesome responsibility of providing leadership and strategic direction for Nigeria's Apex Policy Institute. We want to appreciate you for your leadership role since you came on board the DG, for sustaining the research and think tank endeavors of the Institute over the years.
He further stated that the reasons for the courtesy visit was to appeal for the reactivation of training collaborations between CIS and NIPSS, and to also seek for slots for nomination of their members for the Senior Executive Course program.
Members direct membership of CC UK and the New York Institute of Finance, United States of America. The areas of collaboration that we have come to engage with the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies today are listed as follows. One is the request for the approval by NIPSS for the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers after 31 years of operation to become a nominating institute at NIPSS. The capital market remains the main platform through which long-term financing could be organized to finance the infrastructural development objective of our government, that is the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We therefore strongly believe that our participation as a nominating institute at NIPSS will enhance the quality of discourse and improve policy formation on infrastructural funding as we continue to sponsor our members from time to time to contribute their quota to national development through NIPSS.
The DG, in his remarks, stated that the CIS is a professional institute that offers value in the Nigerian capital market and a veritable indicator of how well the nation's economy is doing. He also assured them that their recommendations will be submitted to the federal government for consideration.
In Nigeria, we know what the capital market is capable of doing. We know that it's a veritable indicator of how well the economy of the nation is doing, and we know what role it plays in the development of Nigeria. But let me invite you to be partners with NIPSS on a few projects that we intend to do.
Chana Ejoga, reporting for NIPSS Policy TV.
It's new, it's fresh, it's all about policies and strategies. Watch out for NIPSS Policy TV programs on NTA News 24. Tune in on Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on DSTV Channel 419, GoTV Channel 26, Star Times Channels 101 and 433, and Free TV Channel 703. Miss this and miss out on policies that will affect you and our country. Join us.
Keep watching.
Keep watching NIPSS Policy TV.
Emerging internal security threats in Nigeria, such as kidnapping, hostage and ransom taking, illegal migration, discrimination, and the proliferation of small arms and light weapons, have had a significant negative effect on the internal operations of security agencies. The threat of kidnapping is high throughout Nigeria. There is also high incidence of crime, including armed robbery, assault, vandalism of public infrastructure, maritime crime, and piracy. Incidences of homicide is also on the increase in many parts of the country. Security operation efforts in Nigeria are mainly policing by the Nigerian Police Force, which ideally holds primacy in internal security. Soldiering, which involves military actions, particularly in relation to managing insurrections and threats to the state's territorial integrity. Effective tackling of security challenges in Nigeria must involve good governance and accountability, good political leadership, and adequate motivation of security personnel. Experts and stakeholders say the government needs to do more in provision of funds, modern equipment, training, and improved welfare packages to enhance the performances of security agencies in Nigeria. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokum, presented a paper titled Industrialization, Energy Security, and Climate Change, the Role of the Nigerian Police Force during the Defense Week at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, where he talked about the role of the police in ensuring security for its citizens. He gave recommendations towards tackling these challenges.
It is my great pleasure to be in your midst this afternoon to present a paper titled Industrialization, Energy Security, and Climate Change Mitigation and Adaptation, the role of the Nigerian Police Force. In this paper, I'll be addressing the intertwined issues of industrialization, energy security, and climate change mitigation and adaptation, and examine the role of the Nigerian police. The role of the police in industrialization, energy security, and climate change mitigation and adaptation is primarily focused on maintaining law and order, enforcing regulations, and ensuring public safety. While the direct impact of the police on these areas may not be immediately apparent, the presence and enforcement activities of the police personnel play a crucial role in facilitating and regulating the processes associated with industrialization, energy security, and climate change efforts. The Nigerian Police Force is an agency established by the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, that is responsible for the maintenance of law and order. The force is the principal law enforcement agency in Nigeria, established by laws and charged with the preservation of public order and tranquility, enforcement of laws, the promotion of public health, safety and morals, the prevention, detection, and prosecution of offenders. These constitutional responsibilities are expected to guarantee effective internal security management with a view to providing a secure environment for industrialization, promoting energy security, and allowing people to contribute to climate change mitigation and adaptation. Role of the Nigerian Police Force in industrialization, energy security, and climate change mitigation and adaptation. As industrialization often involves large-scale construction projects, manufacturing activities, and the establishment of industrial zones, the Nigerian police are responsible for maintaining law and order within these areas. We ensure that protests, strikes, or any other potential disruptions are managed in a way that minimizes the impact on industrial operations. Industrialization requires significant investments in infrastructure and assets. The Nigerian Police Force are responsible for protecting these facilities from theft, vandalism, and other criminal activities. We play a role in enforcing regulations related to industrial activities, such as labor laws, environmental regulations, and occupational health and safety standards. For instance, in July 2023, the Benue State Police Command, in collaboration with the National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, sealed up a pure biotech company limited for contravening environmental law by discharging pollutants into public water system. By ensuring compliance, we contribute to industry's sustainable and responsible growth. The NPF plays a crucial role in the process of industrialization by enforcing government laws and regulations to provide secure environments for industries to flourish. With this, we create a sense of security and stability that is essential for attracting both local and foreign investment into the country's industrial sector. One of the primary responsibilities of the NPF is to uphold the rule of law and ensure that businesses operate within the legal framework. The force, therefore, enforces laws related to property rights, contracts, labor regulations, and industrial safety standards. By doing so, we establish a predictable and transparent business environment that fosters confidence among investors. This in turn encourages the growth and expansion of industries. The presence of a capable and efficient police force is vital for attracting foreign direct investment into Nigeria's industrial sector. Foreign investors consider several factors before investing, and security is a significant and utmost concern. A secure environment, free from crime, theft, and other forms of illegal activities instills confidence in potential investors. The NPF's role in maintaining law and order provides a reassurance to both local and foreign investors, making them more likely to invest in the country's industrial projects. Moreover, industrialization often involves the establishment of industrial zones or parks where multiple industries are clustered together. These areas require additional security measures to protect investments, infrastructure, and personnel. The NPF is responsible for providing security services in these industrial zones, ensuring the safety of employees, facilities, and assets. By so doing, we create a conducive environment for businesses to operate, leading to increased productivity and growth in the industrial sector. Furthermore, the NPF collaborates with the other law enforcement agencies, such as the Customs Service and Immigration, among others, to combat smuggling, counterfeiting, and other illicit activities that can hinder industrial development. We work to prevent the influx of counterfeit goods, illegal imports, and unauthorized trade practices that will undermine the competitiveness of legitimate industries. In summary, our major role in industrialization is to enforce government laws and regulations, ensuring a secure environment for industries to thrive. Our efforts in the protection of lives and property contribute to attracting both local and foreign investments into the country's industrial sector. By maintaining law and order, providing security in industrial zones, and combating illegal activities, we create a conducive atmosphere for industrial growth, leading to economic development and job creation in the country. In relation to energy security, the NPF is responsible for safeguarding critical energy infrastructure, including power plants, pipelines, and transmission lines. This includes preventing sabotage, theft, and other security threats that could disrupt energy supplies. In addition, the police address energy-related crimes such as illegal tapping of power lines, theft of fuel, or illicit trading of energy resources. By preventing and investigating such activities, we help maintain energy security. In the event of energy-related emergencies, such as power outages or accidents at energy facilities, the police play a crucial role in managing the situation, ensuring public safety and coordinating relief efforts. The NPF plays a role in enforcing environmental sanitation at the state level, which contributes to climate change mitigation and adaptation efforts. Environmental sanitation refers to measures taken to promote cleanliness, hygiene, and the proper management of waste, aiming to maintain a healthy environment for communities. Proper waste management is essential in mitigating climate change. We enforce regulations related to waste disposal, ensuring that individuals, businesses, and communities adhere to proper waste management practices. Nevertheless, there are challenges facing the police in this regard. As many states governments have established waste management agencies that sometimes prove difficult to synergize with in ensuring citizens' compliance with waste management regulations. However, the police have not relented in promoting responsible waste management with a view to helping reduce the release of greenhouse gas from waste decomposition, minimizing pollution of air, water, and oil, and supporting sustainable resource management. Through our community policing policy, we engage members of the community in creating awareness about climate change mitigation and adaptation by educating communities about the importance of environmental sanitation practices in this direction. Through community outreach programs, campaigns, and collaborations with relevant stakeholders, We promote behaviors that support climate resilience. This includes educating communities on the impacts of climate change, providing guidance on sustainable waste management, and encouraging practices that reduce vulnerability to climate-related risks.
NIPSS Policy TV also had an up-close interview with the IGP, where he gave more insight collaborative efforts towards internal security and other issues surrounding security in Nigeria.
I came into the office of the Inspector General of Police with a vision to emplace a professionally competent police force. A police force that is service-driven, people-friendly, and rule of law compliant. We are looking at a police force that will respond appropriately and adequately to the dynamics of crimes and criminalities in Nigeria. In my first week in office, I announced to members of the public that my administration is going to restore the mobile police force to its original duties. I intend to create a special squad known as the Special Intervention Squad out of the PMF. This squad will be specially trained, specially kitted, specially motivated. They will be housed and be ready for deployment at shortest notice. They won't perform the traditional duties of guard duties, escorts duties, and so on. They will just be on standby and ready to be deployed to crisis area. Anywhere there is crisis in Nigeria, we have a squad that is ready to move to that crisis zone and restore peace. Nigerians should expect a changed police force very soon. We are emphasizing community engagement with members of the public. We are insisting that our policing narrative has to change for the better.
Keep watching.
Keep watching. Keep watching NIPSS Policy TV.
I work in an environment where you have this cordiality between both parties. Don't forget, I was an Inspector General of Police. Before I became an Inspector General of Police, I had the privilege of being a principal staff officer to 3 Inspectors General of Police in this country. The issues that these people were quarreling with, they were the same issues we were dealing with when I was a principal staff officer to 3 IGs and when I became an IG. So there is nothing that, that people cannot sit down on a table and deliberate on and try to solve. So I just believe that, in the final analysis, when you are talking about the interests of the commission, when you're talking about the interests of the police, the most paramount thing you should think about is how does this affect national security? So I think that has been my approach, and I've been talking to both parties. If you want to talk about the social disorder in our system, insecurity in Nigeria can be geolocated. In the Northeast, you're talking about issues of terrorism. In the Northwest, you are talking about issues of kidnapping, headsmen, this thing. The North Central, the same thing. You are going to the South, you are talking about this. If you go to the Southeast, you are talking about identity crisis. If you go to the South, you are talking about issues of kidnapping. So you see, the 6 geopolitical zone, they are the type, are sometimes, you can identify them. So what I think we are trying to do is to see how we can develop capacity. Crime has become scientific. Crime has become dynamic. It's not static. So you discover that the people who are supposed to deal with these issues, they are people who are supposed to also be knowledgeable. They must be able to have strategies, put in place to deal with them. What are the strategies that we are thinking of bringing in? Intelligence-led policing, community-based, interventions, result-oriented policing strategies, zero-tolerance policing strategies. You see, so sometimes you see that it's an admix of all the strategies that you can bring to deal with these issues. But the most important is for you to be able to key into the local communities where you are operating. So what we are trying to tell them is that, look, every crime, policing is local. Sometimes, you can relate with crimes depending on where they come from. And if you are able to key into the natives, before we got independence, where our communities not policed, they were policed. How were they policed? They were policed by local initiative. You see, now we've been able, we virtually driven away our local resource, the natives, the people who used to help us. We've driven them away because of issues the way we go about policing our system. What we're trying to do now is to win the hearts and minds of these people back. Tell them that we are here because, you people, you are there. There must be that synergy. There must be that, training, capacity building to identify the types of crimes that are prevalent in. Look at what used to happen in Jos. There was a time when, if you on a Friday during the Jumai service, where the Christians they go and protect the mosque, whereas the Muslims too on a Sunday they also do the same thing. You see, that is community-based, system of, policing in a place. That is exactly what we are trying to teach most of our men, that you must be able, wherever you work, the socio-cultural, environment you work should be able to inform the way that you deploy your men material, in dealing with issues of internal security. So we are building up, and we are beginning to build up protocols too. How do you go about these issues? They are not issues that you can just say, oh, now so we did do in those days.
Unemployment and poverty is the major source of internal crime. But if you ask me, in the society, I think I know people that are unemployed for years, and I think I've been one too at a point in time. And I've never think about doing all this crime. I always think about how do I make my own means, how can I earn my own money lawfully. So for somebody to think negatively on how to do all these type of things, this is definitely the work of lazy people and miscreant merchants, and these are people that never even wanted peace in the society. So the government through the police must increase their internal security and surveillance. The government must learn to prosecute, because without prosecution, I think these cases of theft, kidnapping, and pickpocketing is going to continue. We have this case in Plateau State for some times, but I think the case have now reduced drastically, especially this issue of cultism. You can just see youths from different community with guns shooting themselves that one belongs to this particular cult and one belongs to this particular cult. This is even the laxity of our parents, because once there's a failed system, once our parents are failing in even training our young ones, this is where this issue of cultism arises. But if you train your child well, he know where he started from, he know where he's going, he can never contemplate joining bad gangs. The police must prosecute without any fear or favor, without even looking at the face of anybody. You understand, ba? This is the best thing to go.
The issue of security actually is a very, very big problem. And you know, security is not even, we can spend the whole day talking about security. Insecurity has eaten deep into our country. In fact, insecurity has caused drastic drop in our agricultural produce production. People can no longer go to their farms to farm, and the rate of crime in this country, one, unemployment cause it. There is high rate of unemployment in this country. Banditry, people are moving around, killing people anywhere, so people cannot produce crops, cannot produce food in their crops in their farms. Our borders are very porous. We have a very, very large border, and our security personnel are not enough.
And actually, you see, the current realities will only heighten, they will only be increasing. But I'm suggesting, as an individual, let the government empower the youths. Let the youths be engaged. If the youths are actively engaged in any of the policy of the government, if they will be empowered with a skill to engage them to be busy, I think actually the issue of insecurity will be tackled.
As a Nigerian, I think I have a duty to my country. And the duty I have to my country, that's if you recite the national anthem, is all stated there. So I pledge to Nigeria, my country, like I said, to be faithful, loyal, and honest. So if there's anything that is going on in my community, I think I need to be faithful, I need to be loyal, I need to be honest, I need to disclose to the relevant authorities what is happening. If my neighbor is the cause of any arrest, I should be honest enough to tell the government that this is the person that is causing trouble, not minding whether he's my tribe, not minding whether he's of the same religion with me, not minding whether he has the same color of skin with me, not minding any political affiliation or any other thing.
My contribution, I think, as a person to internal security is, whenever I see something, I say it out. How to even improve internal security personally, on personal basis, is whenever crime is perpetrated, we as citizens, we must have to kick against it. We must have to say no to it. We have to stand against, we have to make our minds positive, we have to remain resolute in terms of fighting against crime. And that is the best way to do it. And then the security should please stand to their responsibilities, that whenever crime is reported to them, they have to swift into action in order to curtail the crime.
Well, actually, you see, the issue of corruption has actually eaten deep into the Nigerian system. So I think all the security agencies too have to look inward and take corrections where necessary.
I think Nigerians must start to look at things in a positive way, because your imam or your pastor might be the source of your discomfort, and the person that you keep seeing as your enemy might also be the cause of your comfort. Let us always love one another, cherish one another, and live in peace.
Like, for example, in the whole Nigeria now, the total number of police we have is not even up to 400,000. they are about 360,000 plus. Compare the ratio of the people to the ratio of the Nigerian policemen, and likewise the military, likewise the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and all these paramilitary agencies. Actually, we are under security personnel in this country. So for the federal government if federal government are serious about tackling insecurity in this country, one, they must have to employ, recruit security personnel, because we are under police, we are under military, we are under everything.
Let me share. Just like you rightly pointed out, what did we drop? Then what did they drop?
What did they drop? Yes.
Exactly. It's not as if we don't have the same competence and capacity, but we relegate them to the back.
In fact, it is when you read this kind of documents that you understand the kind of brains we have. Like, this was researched in depth and homegrown. Kala, every research that went into this was homegrown.
This is Group 2, participants of the Policy and Strategic Leadership Course 48 at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, brainstorming on strategic thinking towards decision making. The participants have been tasked to do research on different topics towards national development. What are you talking about?
We're talking about national development, actually. We're doing our research, our group research, as it is the tradition of the Institute for us to be divided into groups, and for those groups to research on one or two topics, so at the end of the day, we'd give certain recommendations and implementation strategies and policy advisories to the government. So our topic is external debt management and national development, the challenges and ways forward. So we were discussing the national development aspect of it, and discussing certain alternative ways we feel if the federal government would consider would go a long way in taking our country forward. We call it the developmental federalism, where every region and every state will specialize in one or two sectors, and at the end of the day would all come together as a supportive ecosystem. This state supporting this state, this region supporting this region, and at the end of the day, ultimately, would have sustainable national development.
Before, we have been taking decisions without thinking through strategically, but the course today has opened us up to see the need to think strategically. Because by so doing, it adds value to whatever decision we come with. So, this one has opened us up. By the grace of God, by the time we go back to our various organizations, we put it into use, and it will increase the output of decision making, both as organization and invariably translating to the national development.
They speak on the experience gathered so far at the National Institute and recommend that younger people be encouraged to come for leadership training.
I'm quite impressed with my friend Ishak, who at a very young age is coming in here. So I would advise the institution to encourage young people to come in, because most of the times we find out the senior executive course participants are people who are 3, 4, 5 years to retirement. At that age, I will be thinking of what I will be doing post public or private service. But at the age of 30, 20 something, I have a lot to give, and I have a lot of time to spend. So NIPSS as an institution, excellent. The policies, the the environment is conducive for learning, the instructors and resource persons are of international class. But we need to encourage more people, particularly young people, to come in. The young people are the people that will change the trajectory of Nigeria.
In life, there's no end to learning. And the course of the last 2 weeks, there's some things you do innately, but now this has brought them into focus or perspective. And I've seen the weakness in some of the methods and approach to things, and that would also help me to strengthen those areas. And the things that I'm doing currently that I discover, without even knowing that, this is best practice, it will also help me to enhance those kind of things. Then back at work, particularly mentoring and coaching, is something that the approach to it is going to be quite different. Then it actually opens one up to think out of the box. And it's something that every mid-level person, I don't even think it should be senior at the senior level. Mid-level officers should be introduced to this, so that we start building a critical mass of leaders, because that's one of the things that we lack as a country.
Group 4 are doing research on mineral resources development, sustainable economic growth in Nigeria, challenges and prospects.
In this country, mainly we have been focusing on just an aspect of the mineral resources, that is the petroleum. All attention has been on petroleum. And petroleum is just a negligible part of the mineral resources we have in this country. God has blessed this nation with a lot of resources. Like God, in John's here we have China and Columbines. In Nasarawa we have thousands of mineral resources, but we have not been putting much focus. We have coal, limestone, bauxite, and many other mineral resources in Nigeria, but we have not been focusing on them. So there's need for the government to be deliberate about it, so that we can focus on other sources of getting revenue from Nigeria. Because you look at it, the moment there's any problem in the international oil market, Nigeria is in trouble.
All the participants are expected to complete their research before conclusion of the course.
Welcome back. Today I will discuss with Air Vice Marshal Uche Owago, MNI. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Now, sir, you have been part of the National Institute and you are back to moderate some of the activities of the National Institute. Tell us, how has it been when you were here?
I was a participant back 2016, and it was an interesting ride as a member of the Senior Executive Course 38. A couple of years later, I came back as a directing staff, where I served in the Institute for 2 years. It's really interesting. Things have evolved over time. The ways of instruction then and now have changed, and I think that is one thing we have to really appreciate. Things evolve with time, and the Institute is equally moving in tandem with the evolution in time. The way instructions are given those days are definitely not the way they are done now. And the curriculum goes through constant development in tandem with prevalent situations. And the participants of today are much more, I would say, much more exposed. It's even translates into in the homes. The way you have kids of 10, 15 years ago are not the same kind of kids you're having now. Your kids now will be the ones to teach you if you're not ahead of them. So it equally becomes a challenge on the directing staff and faculty to ensure that they are over and above expectations by the participants. If not, they find themselves where they are running to meet a tag along with the participants who have actually come here to learn and appreciate some of this discourse.
Is there anything that you would wish they do differently?
Well, the National Institute, being the policy think tank of government, requires more attention by government. I think government should be able to recognize the place the Institute plays and its responsibilities and appreciate the outcomes from the Institute on a yearly basis. With that, a lot of attention has to be brought to the Institute by providing most of those learning needs of the Institute. Yes, the Institute could run on a budget, but then it has to be a friendly budget for the Institute. Yes, we know there are prevalent, there are lots of establishments, organizations and the like demanding for scarce resources. But again, government should realize that this is an institute that provides solutions to most of its policy challenges and the dire need for it to be given ample attention. Once ample attention is given to the institute, where participants come in and find themselves in a situation, good learning environment where everything is provided for, I'm sure the outcomes from every course will be much better than what it is now.
Okay. So how has it been, because you've been coming and going, how has it also affected your work? Because I know you also have your office. How do you really cope with that situation?
Yes. After my tour of duty as a directing staff, I go back to my core functions in the Headquarters Nigerian Air Force. But then, most on quite a regular basis, the Institute invites me either to deliver lectures, in this case here, control the crisis game exercise, and a number of things. I'm always excited coming back to NIPSS. I enjoy the learning environment and enjoy the fact that people get to learn new things, and I could take credit for some of those things that they get to learn. It's been quite a challenge because it has a lot of interference with my work in the office, but I say for a place like NIPSS, I'm ready to sacrifice everything.
Now, I want to talk about people coming in. I know that the Institute has a limit of people that would come in every year. And you have a lot of people who, with the little experience they have, either by coming through short courses, would love to come. How would you want the Institute to deal with that when it comes to that? Because you have a lot of people who really want to come and know about the policies, policy making, and how they could be part of, the changing factor of Nigeria.
Okay, like I rightly said, everything borders around funding. The Institute restricts itself on the number of participants it takes for every course now because of the limited facilities on the ground. Remember, for every course, particularly the senior executive course, which is the flagship course of the National Institute, it is a course that is a resident course. Participants must live on the Institute. And then there are a limited number of accommodation available. If you are going to increase the number of participants, that means you are going to build more accommodation, you are going to expand the auditorium size, you are going to create more study groups, and all these borders on finances. So the Institute, I'm sure, would have been ready to accommodate more than they have now, but I think they are bound by facilities on the ground. If the facilities are improved upon, why not? You also have to get additional directing staff to serve on other members of faculty to be able to serve within the Directorate of Studies to impact on these people that are coming.
So what is your words to Nigeria out there?
Well, my words to Nigeria is take things that come out of the National Institute seriously, because this is where you gather the creme de la creme of Nigerians from diverse agencies, portfolios of government, and even the public and private sector. Brainstorm, travel far and wide, and come up with policy recommendations and implementation strategies, which if duly and truthfully, I wrote it on 5 seconds now, truthfully implemented, should be able to take Nigeria to where it wants to be tomorrow.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you
time.
very much.
This is the much we can take today. Do make it a day next time. Thank you. I am Chana.
Keep watching.
Keep watching. Keep watching NIPSS Policy TV.
It's fresh. It's all about policies and strategies. Watch out for NIPSS Policy TV programs on NTA News 24. Tune in on Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on DSTV Channel 419, GoTV Channel 26, Star Times Channels 101 and 433, and Free TV Channel 703. Miss this and miss out on policies that will affect you and our country. Join us.
Nigeria's journey to bolster internal security is a complex and multifaceted challenge. While the nation faces significant obstacles like terrorism, ethnic tension, and cyber threats, it is critical to acknowledge government's effort and the importance of community engagement and international cooperation. By addressing these challenges and implementing the recommended strategies, Nigeria can work towards a more secure and prosperous future for its citizens. That is all on Policy Focus today. Thanks for watching. I am Chana Ejaga. God bless Nigeria.